Hi, welcome to Black and Organic. I am so glad you've come along to my unboxing video. I'm hoping to do a few of these. As I find food, I will show it to you. Hopefully soon you'll be able to see food from my garden once it decides to grow and I stop killing it. So this shop is from a company called Eversfield Organic, not sponsored by them in any way, but I've been using them for several years now. And they are fantastic because they'll just take local grown food or EU food and they will kind of put it in a DPD box and send it over. So it's an interesting way to get your food, to say the least, but it turns out pretty good and pretty okay. So we're gonna get to it and I'm gonna tell you a bit of nutrition stuff as well. So this is me in my kitchen opening it up, and the first thing we have is polenta, which is cornmeal and it's naturally gluten-free, which is really useful. Now we have Cornish sea salt, nice and local. They will send you nice free-range eggs, and I'm showing you that in this instance they came out really good and fresh. Sometimes, you know, it's going DPD, so you can't be certain. I have some organic butter here, salted. I think I was trying to show you that it was. I'm not exactly sure. I have some oat milk that's come and some chicken. And I know you're probably saying this is coming via DPD. How is it doing that? It has freeze packs in it. That is lamb stock bones. We also have some beef stock bones and more chicken. I think there's a decent amount of chicken. So now I'm going to talk a bit about why I buy these things and why they're general staples. I alluded to polenta being naturally gluten-free. Just for people to know the difference between cornmeal, polenta, and grits is that polenta doesn't necessarily have to be corn-based, but I buy the corn-based polenta, and then it's the common variety. All three are based in corn, but cornmeal typically from the States is like dent corn, and it's ground in different consistencies, not just fine or medium, and polenta basically comes mostly fine, though you can get other varieties of it. And then grits are always coarse whole grains, which are very, very nutritious. But to get that same nutritious corn flavor, I get the organic Anisa polenta, and I make a lot of cornbread. So that's really, really useful. The next thing that I got was the Cornish sea salt, which is nice and local from Cornwall. 60 natural minerals, including potassium and magnesium. It also has some calcium in it. But I tend to favor the taste of Himalayan pink salt. Has 80 natural minerals. It's an antioxidant. It's a good detoxifier, but both are great for cooking. I get eggs. We know eggs are rich in protein. We also know eggs are good with vitamin B and like selenium and stuff like that, and we should eat the whole egg, right? Don't just, you know, ditch the center, because that has really great nutritional value. It's like one of the most important components of the egg. I get chicken because of the niacin, because it's great for skin, and then it has zinc in it, which is also great for wound healing. Very high in niacin chicken. And I also do this kind of bootleg bone broth thing with the bones, where I can get the collagen and I add vegetables to that, and it just gets really, really rich and nutritious. So that's that. So now we're getting into more of the vegetables here. And so we have our chard, which is high in vitamin A and magnesium. It's an antioxidant. That came out a bit dodgy, right? It was a bit kind of melted. So that's when you get it in a box, but most of it was salvageable. We had some courgettes that you saw just came and went really quickly. Then that was flat peaches. Now we're on to nice red phytonutrients, which are the red cabbage. And the reason why I just kind of stopped talking there is because they're purple cabbage, but I always call them red. It's just the American in me. We have mushrooms, which is a great tan phytonutrient, really healthy for your gut and your immune system. We have some good green food with, you know, our grapes, and I think Yeah, green. The grapes are technically, I think, white, but either way, great phytonutrients. Lemons. Now, lemons are absolutely essential because, especially for our vegans and vegetarians out there, because when you squeeze lemon juice over like leafy vegetables, what you get is higher iron absorption. And so we had carrots there, which is what it says on the tin. We had some red onions. We had some tan, onions, some nice yellow onions, I think they're called. Have some bananas there. And then I think that was more onions. That's why I kind of went away from it. Apples. An apple a day does keep the doctor away. Really, really good for you. Helps with gut health and asthma and cancer. Decreases your chance of diabetes. Oh, we had a repeat of carrots. That's why, I didn't have to overly belabor it, but that's a nice orange phytonutrient. Have some potatoes in there. I never get loads of potatoes. They're like really heavy and starchy for me. So I just kind of get a few. All right, we're done. So, like I said, this was about a 120-pound shop because it came to 97 and I had a 20-pound voucher. And that's going to last about a week and a bit. So for a lot of people, grocery shops, that seems a bit expensive, not just for me. This is a family of 3. So that's pretty much how my organic food shopping goes. It's much cheaper from open air markets. It's much cheaper directly into local stores. Of course, there's, I would assume, costs that are added for shipping and packaging and processing and all those various things. And there are other grocers, but I will put a link in the description bar that gets you a bit of a discount. So hopefully, that will help. It's just a referral code. But why is this important to eat organic food? I mean, there are some real impediments to eating organic food on a regular basis. Okay, there's food accessibility. You're not near any farms. You don't even have consistent internet coverage, and you don't have enough money to invest in a farm delivering. That's happening to quite a lot of people. Other impediments to organic shopping is just not having the time, okay? Because you could probably figure things out if you weren't working one job that takes up 67 hours a week, or 2 or 3 jobs, which is a common thing. But the importance of having organic food and kind of prioritizing that in your life is because when we talk about carrots are, rich in vitamin A, or helps with your immune system, or we talk about that yellow onions have potassium, or we talk about portobello mushrooms are anti-cancer and anti-aging. If we talk about red onions being really nutritious and good for you in the same way, it's anti-inflammatory. It's nothing within the kind of structure of the vegetable itself that gives it these properties. I mean, these properties come from soil. So when they say we are what we eat, we are also what we eats. And we know this when it comes to animal products. We'll often say that, all these animal products may have a lot of pesticides, the animals were treated inhumanely. I've heard people even theorize that the way animals are treated, that kind of trauma is in the animal's body, and you're eating that trauma, and it is coming out in kind of increased rates of depression. I don't know how true or not that is. That seems very intense, but it is true that if you've been eating animals that are fed slop, you know that it's going to be devoid of any kind of nutritious value. The same is with your vegetables. If the soil doesn't have selenium in it, if the soil doesn't have any vitamin A in it, if the soil is chock full of pesticides that will go into the vegetables that you're eating, and the vegetables, when they're genetically modified, they tend not to have the same resilience to keeping their nutrient and vitamin profile. They tend to kind of favor not dying in the hot sun so they can be packaged and shipped. You're not going to get these benefits. So people often get frustrated like, oh, I've been eating onions for inflammation, right? And all I have is illness. You know, I just don't feel well. Well, you need to be able to eat things that have eaten well. So thanks for watching me unbox, and I hope that helped. Take care.